Okay, Aircon's video on Sunday, the 3rd of July 2022. It's just gone 6:19 p.m. Chicago time. Do hope you are doing well. So if you celebrate the 4th of July, I hope you have a good 4th of July tomorrow. And if you celebrated Canada Day on the 1st of July, I hope you had a good Canada Day. So it's a little bit quiet this weekend because it's 4th of July. I thought I'd do a quick recap of the futures markets and what happened this last week and what potentially could happen next week. This is a simplified view of the global macro charts, everything on one chart. Obviously kind of squeezed up here on a small screen. It doesn't look all that good, but on a big screen everything's nice here. Only got 15 charts on this setup. I used to have a bigger setup where there were 24 charts. Where I included a whole bunch of things like coffee and cocoa, lean hogs, live cattle, that kind of thing. But really those markets aren't the big markets to trade, and they're only trading a few hours a day anyway. So I've kind of reduced this down to just the major markets. They're arranged in a kind of an orderly manner here. On the left hand side we've got the futures forex contracts. So we've got the euro, British pound, Aussie dollar, Japanese yen. Japanese yen trades a little bit different than all the other kind of forex contracts. That's why it's kind of sitting off here. And the Aussie dollar is kind of representative of commodities currency, just like the Canadian dollar. So kind of sits over here. Euro and British pound will kind of trade a little bit kind of tightly. And then we've got the major financial markets. We've got the E-mini and the 10-year notes. And then we've got the precious metals. We've got gold and silver. I also include Bitcoin down here. Bitcoin, maybe you could include it as an e-gold type of contract. So that's how it's kind of included in the precious metals column. And then over on the right hand side we've got the commodities, the big ones, the energy complex with crude and natural gas, and then we've got copper here, representative of all of the industrial metals, and then on the right hand side all the major ag commodities. So we've got corn, soybeans and wheat. So for a global macro kind of setup, this kind of covers all the major futures markets, and we've got them all in one place and we can see what is going on. So for me, a couple of things happened last week. Let's talk about dollar index first of all, and the Japanese yen and the euro, because the Japanese yen kind of had a nice little signal towards the end of last week. You can see here, so this is a 900 tip bar chart. All of the tip bar chart settings are kind of normalized to try and make the amount of activity that happens in a 24-hour period consistent between each of the charts. It's not exactly perfect, but I kind of review that once a year and change the tip bar chart settings, but it kind of works for me at these kind of lower time frame charts. But anyway, so a 900 tip bar chart on Japanese yen towards the end of last week kind of signaled with a long signal. Here it's a triple signal, so it's all three non-correlated indicators signaling together. So we've got exhaustion sell and bullish divergence. That's on better momentum, which is a volume-based momentum indicator. We're oversold on better sine wave, which is my price-based indicator here with the background in red. And then we've got some blue professional bars kind of step in at the lows here, and we break the trailing stop behind those blue professional bars because the professionals kind of leg in and leg out of positions, and so as soon as we get a break there, that's of interest. So all three come together and we get a nice triple signal there, and we've had a little bit of a rally. It's gone to an exhaustion buy and a exhaustion sell signal here. I think that's just showing the strength of the move and the kind of amount of volume that traded into that. Kind of sold down pretty hard, people kind of taking profits, but as soon as we kind of break above 74.60, that could be a signal that we're kind of keeping going, and this trend in the Japanese yen is going to be strong. This is the open at the moment, so we've opened on the futures markets Sunday evening at 5 p.m. So we've got a little bit of a strong bar there, but getting above this high here will be kind of signal that we've got strength in Japanese yen. With the euro, we did have a signal kind of earlier in the week, but it kind of happened at the wrong place because the bullish divergence signal was pretty late here. We had exhaustion sell, bullish divergence, we were oversold on better sine wave, and we broke the trailing stop. But we immediately kind of reversed and bounced off 104. It's strong at the moment. If we get above 105, that'll show that this is kind of just a clear out type trade, getting everybody kind of freaked out, taken out on their positions, and getting above that would be good. It'd be also good if we had another blue professional bar showing some professional activity where we were kind of buying into this activity and that we were going to get a consistent kind of move in the euro. So euro and Japanese yen are looking interesting for next week, which would be kind of weakness in the dollar index. British pound's also strengthened as well, but it's not a classic kind of signal here. We're oversold, broken above blue professional bars, but the exhaustion sell and bullish divergence patterns were way up here, not down here at the lows. So we haven't kind of generated a triple signal there on British pound. And the Aussie dollar is still kind of weak. We've got no blue professional bars kind of down here at the lows. It has strengthened a little bit, but it's not really a signal kind of going on down here. And potentially that's because the Aussie dollar is commodity currency, and the commodities are pretty weak at the moment. So longer time frame charts, this could be interesting because I've been looking for this change in the dollar index for quite a few weeks now, and this is the daily chart of the dollar index. So we got the 420-minute chart alongside a daily chart for 40 minutes in a day. The 420-minute, there are exactly 3 420-minute bars in a day session, and you can see on the daily charts here we've had signals to go short on the dollar index for a few days here at the beginning of June. Those were kind of going off, but we've just been playing around with these highs, and we kind of keep on breaking into these highs. On the 420-minute chart, it is technically in a downtrend though at the moment here. We keep on hitting into blue professional bars at these highs. If we break 102.94, that'll be kind of confirmation that this change in trend is kind of on its way. We had one kind of break here, but we came back up to more blue professional bars. So 102.94 is kind of going to be an important level there for the dollar index. So let's see if we get that kind of move next week where the dollar index kind of weakens, Japanese yen and the euro start to take off to the upside, and that would mean a lot of things for the commodities. So if the dollar index is weakening, US dollar is weakening, it means that we'll get a natural bounce in a lot of the commodities because they're obviously US dollar priced. So if the US dollar goes down, the commodities kind of naturally go up in price. So we had a very good trade this last week with the 10-year notes at the beginning of the week. That set up into a trade. We didn't have exhaustion sell, but we had everything else going on here for a rally. We had blue professional bars kind of coming in here at the lows. We were oversold, broke above the blue professional bars, and we had a really nice rally. My trade was long 116 out of 118 when I saw these blue professional bars came in, and then Thursday, Friday it just kept on going. We just bounced off those blue professional bars and then came into an exhaustion buy pattern at 120. So there was more in that move, but I had my reasons for getting out here. It was a good profit and kind of rolled into the E-mini instead. I think we've got some strength happening at the moment. This is the Sunday bar here. E-mini again could rally. We usually get a seasonal strength around holidays, particularly 4th of July. It tends to happen right into the weekend of the 4th of July and then roll for the next week up until the Thursday or Friday of that week. So long in the E-mini at the moment, hoping for strength on this to continue Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and we'll see where that goes. So whether this is it in terms of the bonds, I don't know, because this is the long-term chart for the 10-year notes, daily and a 460-minute here. Again, exactly 3 460-minute bars in a daily chart of the 10-year. And yes, we're having a rally at the moment on the 460-minute. You can see we had a whole bunch of blue professional bars kind of come in here, down here at these lows around 115 or so, and we're rallying from there. It was exhaustion sell bullish divergence on the daily chart, but no blue professional bars, so it wasn't a significant enough move to generate blue professional bars. So for me, it's not an actual change in trend, long-term trend of the bonds. It just means we're having a little bit of a relief rally, and we'll see where the blue professional bars kind of step in on the daily chart, just as they did here and here to kind of knock it down for the next kind of move down. But we do have relief rallies into wherever those blue professional bars kind of step in at that point. So that's it in terms of the Forex charts and the big financials, the E-mini and the 10-year. The ags have continued to weaken this week. This is corn. We had signals a couple of weeks ago, and we've just continued to sell down and down. This is kind of exhaustion sell getting the move going. We've got to see exhaustion sell. Some blue professional bars are starting to come in, but we haven't seen an exhaustion sell signal to kind of show we're exhausted on the way down. So corn's kind of continuing down. This is soybeans. We had a bounce off blue professional bars, exhaustion buy, bearish divergence, and then we had a signal continued down over the last couple of days here in soybeans. And then in wheat, again, same thing. We had exhaustion buy, bearish divergence. We just kept on going down. Here we've got exhaustion sell kind of coming in, and one blue professional bar. I don't know. We need to see some more on wheat before kind of this thing is done on the downside. Keep on having these little false rallies that kind of go nowhere. Only one or two blue professional bars kind of coming in here, one or two here. It's not enough to end this downtrend. Just we had all these blue professional bars taking profits and selling it down. You've got to see a fair number of blue professional bars before this thing will be over on the downside. So the ag commodities continue to weaken. We could have a little bit of a bounce though if the US dollar kind of goes down, but there's no signals to kind of reverse and go long. And then crude, we're kind of stuck here. We did have signals last week, the week before, with exhaustion sell, bullish divergence. We were oversold. We broke above blue professional bars, and we had a couple of signals to go long. But at 114 we ran out of juice. Blue professional bars kind of came in and they kind of sold it down, took profits pretty hard. But it's back into this zone at 104, 106. So let's see, you know, if it catches here, what I'd be looking for is another blue professional bar to show, you know, that they're kind of buying into this area, getting ready for another rally into 112, 114. But have to wait and see. So crude, nothing there at the moment. Natural gas potentially. This is going to signal this week. We've got blue professional bars at the lows. We've had exhaustion sell, bullish divergence, and a flush pattern. We've broken above the blue professional bars. The only thing we're missing here is oversold on better sine wave. So the last signal we had on better sine wave was overbought and triple signal down. So we've got a lot kind of going on here with natural gas holding, but it's not actually an oversold like this, which is interesting. So that's natural gas. And then copper. Yep, copper kind of weakening here. We had good signals at the beginning of the month. Bit of a false signal here. Wasn't enough blue professional bars at that point, and the exhaustion sell was kind of getting the move going. It wasn't ending the move. So all we've seen at the moment down here with copper is exhaustion sell. We've got no blue professional bars. It is oversold. So we can't do anything on copper yet because we've not seen those blue professional bars. And then lastly, precious metals. We got gold here. This is a mess, this chart. If you see a whole bunch of signals kind of going on like that, it's best to kind of back it up to the next time frame. So I'd triple that number and look at a 6,750 chart here. But blue professional bars at the highs here, and we've kind of sold down. So no blue professional bars at the lows. We could have a little bit of a relief rally in gold if the dollar index weakens, but there's nothing really kind of to say that that's a tidy chart to look for a pattern. On silver, it's a little bit cleaner here. We are having a bit of a relief rally just because that's bouncing off exhaustion, sell and bullish divergence. But again, no blue professional bars kind of looking here. And the last blue professional bars we saw were a whole series selling it down. Little bit of a killing fields pattern here where they gap it up, or not gap it up, but just push it up and use this area to get short, push it up, get short. Whole bunch of blue professional bars here just selling at that point. So we've got to see a similar amount of kind of blue professional bars to bottom this market, but this is just a little bit of a relief rally happening at the moment in silver. Lastly, Bitcoin. So Bitcoin, we have had signals over the last week. Blue professional bars, a bunch of them coming in at the lows, exhaustion sell, bullish divergence, all at 19, and then we had this, you know, kind of extreme pattern here. We just buy the whole stack, and then we kind of come back to test. It potentially is a killing fields pattern if we broke, you know, heavily below 19 here, where they've used all of this activity to get short. But when we had that break below 19, we immediately bounced back and then came back again. We need to wait for blue professional bars for confirmation after this kind of pattern here to see what's going on. So you know, we've got a ways to go to break through 20 to change better pro-am around, but blue professional bars is what I'd be looking for next on the Bitcoin chart. So there we go, a little bit of a rip around the global macro kind of charts. And let's see if the dollar index does weaken this week and we get a continued rally of the E-mini, kind of as a seasonal trade. I'm just looking at that. It's just weakened to 14, so it's not looking good. We were up at 22 a minute ago, so that's not good for the E-mini for the time being. But if we get a continuation of the rally in the E-mini and bonds and kind of weakness in dollar index, strength in Japanese yen, that would be kind of what I'd be interested in seeing and looking for this next week.